My guest at this time can be seen in action this week, taking on Marty Bell in an opening round match in the ROH Women's Title Tournament. It is the Afro Punk Trish Adora. Trish, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I really do.
Man, Trish, it's been nice the last day or so getting to kind of look more into your career. I'd only kind of tacitly heard about you. We have a mutual friend in AJ Gray I'd seen For the Culture. I knew about your Pan-African World Disapora Championship reign at some point. I thought that was such a cool title. Is that the title right there over your shoulder? I was
Yes.
about to say. Okay, well, first of all, since you have this thing so proudly displayed, it is the coolest name for any title in all of professional wrestling. Can you tell everybody about this title that you have here with you right now?
Yes, so the Pan-African World Diaspora Championship, it was born out of necessity. It really started as like a conversation me and one of my battle buddies had about 10 years ago coming up. Wow, it's coming up on 10 years. We were deployed at the time, and we were just kind of talking about what we were going to be doing outside of this. And I was like, yo, I think I'm going to be a wrestler, for sure. And then he was kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I could do that, because we both like wrestling. So he's like, oh, I don't know if I'll do that. He ended up getting his promoter's license in DC.
Okay.
So, it started from a conversation 10 years ago, a couple years, like 2 years ago, he showed me like a design for the belt. And I was just like,
that's a pretty
so
belt.
we're actually doing it. We're actually doing it. I couldn't believe it. So it's really, it was just born out of necessity. We believe that there is a very important place among the ranks of very good professional wrestlers that Black, Brown, LGBT, community belongs there too. And I'm wielding this and I'm defending this with honor against those people. So.
Man, that is so cool. I love the belt, like bringing that representation. I mean, you're very upfront about it. Your finisher is the Lariat Tubman, right? Like, I think that's wonderful. Like, that you're bringing this kind of, I don't know, talk to me a little bit about like the history of pro wrestling and Black people, people of color, LGBTQ community, like why you feel like you need to stake your claim in the ground and be so upfront about this stuff right now with pro wrestling.
Yeah, I think that's important to be so upfront, because representation is extremely important. When I was younger, I have 5 brothers. I was the only girl. And, we'd be watching wrestling, but it just felt like something for them. It never, I don't know, it just was like the boys are watching that. And I'm just kind of looking like, okay, this is cool. This is fun and interesting. One day I saw Jacqueline and I was like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, what's she doing? What's all this? What's all that about? So being able to see a Black woman be prominently featured and, having these really interesting intergender matches and always being taken so seriously too. Like, whenever she was in those arenas, they viewed it a certain way, and it was just really cool that she was able to do both. I thought that was so cool to see, to see myself in that. So as I start my career, I'm like, okay, maybe I can be that for someone else. I'm hoping I can. I'm hoping I can, be that for lots of people, so.
Well, I know there's a lot of Trish Adora fans out there. I was talking to my buddy. I was like, oh, man, I finally got Trish, right? It was right place, right time, right platform. You're doing something big. I felt like we're going to put Trish Adora on the site right now. What does it mean to you to have, you're going up against Marty Bell here in the opening round? 2 women of color here in the opening round of this new, invigorated Ring of Honor Women's Division.
I think that's like really cool, and to lend to representation as well, to be an Afro-Latina as Marty Bell, I think that's really cool. And I think that there's a lot of avenues that we hit, and we did wrestle before. Unfortunately, I come up short, but I'm looking to turn that around. I believe that I can. This tournament, it's happening at such a strange time. There's so much going on in my life, and this feels like just the cherry on top, like exactly what I need. It feels like so kismet. It's really cool.
What can people, fans, expect when you and Marty get in the ring? What kind of a bout will this be, when we get to see it here?
Yeah. So I'm definitely getting my technical game ready.
Okay.
I've been studying more tapes. I've been playing more chess. I've been getting my mind ready to move. I'm getting my mind ready to stay put if I need to. I'm getting my mind ready to wait a turn if I need to. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
I view wrestling that way. So I'm definitely looking to take her there.
Playing chess, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching back that video this morning, hyping you and running. I was like, wow, rugby player, military, that's a real tough woman. But chess, wow, that's smarts too. That's mental toughness there,
Mental toughness is absolutely necessary. Honestly, it wasn't until I start like playing chess that it really kind of wrestling made such more sense to me. I couldn't even believe it, like as I relate the pieces to certain moves and I'm considering the end game. And I'm like, well, if the goal is to trap the king, my goal is to trap the arm. I use the cattle mutilation as my finish. So
Right. Yeah.
it's very symbolic, but I like a
Wow.
little symbolism.
Do you have another wrestler you get to play chess with? Is there somebody out there that like you guys whip a board out in the back and go to town?
Yes.
Who?
Jonathan Gresham.
Really?
I beat him in chess.
Wow.
Write it down. And I'll sign it right now. I beat him one time, but I beat him.
That makes sense.
I beat him.
I could see you and Gresham in your gear in the back playing chess.
Caprice Coleman. He's a great chess player as well. He mops the floor with me though. He's too good. He's been playing since he was a kid. He's expansive. He's very good.
Well, as somebody who appreciates chess, I would like to publicly encourage Ring of Honor to put these chess matches on camera, right?
Look.
Right?
We'll write it down.
Right?
We'll write it down.
That's a good idea. I would definitely watch you, Caprice, and Gresham, maybe some others.
Jay Lethal as well.
Jay? Okay, well, that's 4. That's a tournament already. That's great.
For sure.
So talk to me about Gresham here a little bit. Man, he is he's taking on a leadership role. He's like redefining an entire division. Like, what's it like to what's your relationship like with him? What do you think what he's doing right now?
Yeah, I think, so I started training at the Ring of Honor Dojo about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I was just like a sponge. I was just kind of standing there trying to soak up everything. And it wasn't until I really pulled him aside when he was going to have his Grappler's Guild program. And I was like, all right, so I need some help and I need lots of it because I have all these ambitious goals, ambitious dreams. And I just started like naming off all this stuff, some of which has actually already happened. So funny enough, what manifestation does. So I just kind of was talking about all these ambitions. I want to travel to Japan. I want to travel again to the UK. There was so much left on the table when I went the first time. And, and just to kind of sit there and talk with him, he really just kind of broke bread with me. And I think that set me apart a little bit afterwards. And he began to take more of like a mentorship role, especially when he was training at the Ring of Honor Dojo with the women's division. So
and you had a couple matches in Ring of Honor 2019. So were you training at the dojo or just finished training at the dojo because like the division has changed obviously a lot from 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. There's a bit of a separation from me, like with the MCW shows and then with the Ring of Honor shows. Okay. There was just, I don't know, there's just somewhat of a separation there. Mm-hmm. So it is a little different. Things feel different. I feel different. So there's a lot of changes coming up on this round of the women's division. I'm very excited about that.
Well, Maria Kanellis has taken a leadership role with the women's division over at Ring of Honor. Have you had a chance to talk to Maria or work with her on what the plans are going to be for this new division kind of going forward?
Yes, and Maria is extremely ambitious, which is very nice because, to be surrounded by other ambitious people who are willing to hear your ideas, who are willing to bounce things back off of you, that are willing to, maybe bridge the gap between the independents and TV wrestling, and that's heavy on my shoulders. I've kind of taken on that a little bit myself, but to be involved with a company that sees that too and that doesn't scare them, they're not upset by that. That's really nice. It's really nice.
When you talk about bridging between the independents and ROH, are you talking about style wise? Or are you talking about allowing talents to work the independents? Like what? I just clarification a little bit of what you're talking about there.
Yeah. So what I mean is that there's a connection between TV wrestling and I think people see it as two separate things, right? They see independent wrestling as a little bubble, and they see TV wrestling as this huge thing that's just, and I really see them on relatively equal footing. So I like to be able to bounce between the two, and I'm hoping that that example can inspire some change within, you know, the TV wrestling, that I don't want to say pipeline, but you know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, because like the stuff you and Gresham and like, you know, even Danhausen, you guys go out to the Indies. It is very different. It's a lot more playful. It's got to be. How is it kind of working in a TV environment? Is that stressful, tougher for you having to work the cameras and focus more on the production side of it as opposed to doing all the fun indie stuff?
You know, those are some learning curves and some teaching points that I've been getting over the few months, you know. But the adjustments have been a little bit easier to make because now a lot of the independents, at least the ones that I've been featured on, they have, you know, streaming services too. So they're allow that whole work the camera, you know, so you never really go too far away from having to work the camera. You know?
I guess there's just more cameras. There's just more cameras. I feel like at Ring of Honor. On the Indies, there's usually like one, maybe a guy over there. Is he with the promotion? I don't know.
Somebody with a cell phone. No, but
I think I should play to that camera. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then there's like there's certain timing cues that you have to consider as well. So it's definitely a different playing field, but I'm learning. I've jumped in on the run. So
you mentioned how you trained at the dojo with Gresham. I also saw that you trained at the 3D Academy. Is that correct? Yes. That's a very tough program. I have talked to some people that have trained with Bully and Devon. Devon seems very nice. Bully can be very tough, I've heard. How different was the 3D Academy from what was like training with Gresham at the ROH Dojo?
Well, so initially at Team 3D, it was very like the basics, you know, of professional wrestling. I was honestly, one of the first lessons I was taught was to respect the business. It's very like the old school rules with the new school tools. So they're kind of instilling that respect, but kind of priming you to be able to take things and go on the independence. It's the path isn't always training to TV, you know, and that's also one of the lessons that I've had to learn too at Team 3D. So aside from the moves and the psychology, there's definitely like a respect that's threaded into, you know, the learning. So with that foundation, going to other places, you know, it feels almost like, oh, cool. I'm almost like relieved, you know, when I'm just at other places and they understand that too without having to like, you know, hit you over the head with it. So it was, you know, you go some places and you're like, oh, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back here. And then, you know, you go other places and you're like, okay, this is home because I understand that there's a respect threaded into what we're doing here. So that's different in a sense, more of a finishing school with Gresham, of course, but.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, interesting. Yeah, I just didn't know. Bully obviously had his Ring of Honor run. He was like a top heel and destroyed Flip Gordon for like a year and a half or something. So I didn't know. I didn't know if you were still talking to Bully or if he had ROH advice or anything like that, but it doesn't sound like it. So I did want to bring up from the video with you and Marty, you got really emotional towards the end, talking about your mom. First of all, how's your mom doing right now, Trish?
She's doing well. Whenever I ask, she always says that she's doing the best that she can. So, she's doing the best that she can. She's still in Atlanta, so she's getting treatment down there, staying with my brother. So I'm up here holding down the fort.
So. I feel that. And so you talk about how the guys were watching wrestling around your house. Was your mom a wrestling fan? Like, what does your mom think about you going the path that you've gone in the rough and tumble world of professional wrestling?
Well, you know, she's been a hard sell for a lot of the stuff, you know. She's a trooper. I've definitely given her a couple of headaches over the years about all the stuff I wanted to get involved with. So she's been very patient with me, which I can appreciate, but firm because she wants me to make sure that I'm doing something that's going to make me happy. And she knows that this is going to make me happy. You know, we had the conversation and she's saying like, hey, I'm proud of you. You know, that you're doing something I could have never thought to do. Like, you know, so.
And if you could talk just a little bit more about that, because you talk about her like an inspiration and the hardships and stuff she had to go through and how that kind of motivates you a little bit. Like what are some of the things that you think about when you think about the stuff that your mom had to struggle with, you know, in order for you to kind of get these opportunities and be getting to do the stuff you're doing right now?
Yeah, mostly the confidence issue, you know, and then the low self-esteem, you know. She started having kids relatively young, and she, you know, was born in the 50s. So just having kids relatively young and just going through like the ringer with all that. She was also an only girl. So there was just one of the things that she would always sorry, I'm trying not to get too.
It's fine. I'm interested. I mean, I obviously there's a strong connection there. That's why I wanted to know more about it, because like you know, this is a big moment for you right now, Trish. Like you're in this tournament in this like reinvigorated women's division right now, and like knowing the motivations people going in, like I could just tell there at the end, like mom is obviously a big driving factor for you in this one, and like you know what it means to you to kind of deliver for her, I guess is kind of what I took away from that video. So
Yeah, it's special because she finally gets to see, because I've been away for like a really long time. Even when I was in the military, you know, I've just been away my whole 20s. You know, I just always been doing stuff and running around. I feel like she can finally see what I've been working on, you know, like all
yeah,
the hard work that I've been putting into it. You know, we were in the same house, and I'm just running from city to city. I go, you know, drive to Philly to train, you know, stay the night, drive back the next day, reset. I gotta drive to a show in Florida, you know, and by the time I get back, and it's just like all this running around, and she just don't get it sometimes. And it'll be like 3 in the morning. I'll be at a Wawa parking lot, just like bawling my eyes out, you know, and just I don't know. It's like it was all for something, and I'm happy that I'm able to, you know, show my family, who has been so patient with me
yeah.
and everything that I've been trying to do.
It is rough
So it's
becoming a
nice.
pro wrestler, Trish. Yeah, no kidding, man. And like, I'm sure your mom's like, "Are you sure you're a pro wrestler? Because this whole leaving in the middle of the night thing, are you robbing
Yeah.
banks? Maybe I don't know what it is that you're doing, Trish." Anyway,
Seriously.
I'm so glad I got the time to chat with you, Trish. I'm very, very excited to see you and Marty in action this weekend. And you know, honestly, I'm hoping the best for you in this tournament. I think that you obviously are a wonderful representing champion currently. You'd look great with, you know, Trish 2 belts. You know,
Yes.
got a good ring to it. So where can people go to support you out there right now, Trish?
Oh yes. Well, at Trish Adora 202. Those are my social media links everywhere. Right now, I do have an episode on IWTV. It's called The Life of, where, you know, they give independent wrestlers a camera for a certain amount of time. And so we're going in depth. And so August is, you know, my month. So pretty cool stuff on IWTV right now. Please use code AfroPunk. That's my promo code. So if you're new to IWTV, please use code AfroPunk and give that a watch and really get into like independent wrestling. It's such a really dope network. Let's see what else. I do have a What a Maneuver shop as well. That's
Okay.
pretty awesome. I'll have Maybe I'll have a link to that in my socials when this drops.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Have
that makes
that
sense.
ready for people to click on and go to. That's a smart idea. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll set it up that way. But I do have a What a Maneuver shop, and that's pretty awesome. I'll be having some new designs actually this month as well. There's a lot going on this month. IWTV 100, that show is on Sunday. Not to date this publication, I'm sorry. But on Sunday, it's going to be IWTV's 100th episode, which is going to be really awesome. And I'll be there tagging with Lee Moriarty against
nice.
Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy.
So, damn. That's a big match.
That's going to be crazy.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, on Sunday. It's going to be dope.
Have my attention.